Good morning. It is 10:33 a.m. on February 21st, 2016, Sunday. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. So, I have audio production on the agenda today. I have to find some incidental music and do some audio editing. And I have built a mighty task for myself, and feeling a little bit intimidated by it at the moment, but I will continue to plug away nonetheless because that's how this works. Um, I don't know what I was pointing at just then. My desk, mostly. Um, Last night I watched, or not watched, but I played Firewatch, which is a newish video game, a couple weeks. Um, it's one of the newest in sort of an emerging subgenre that is sometimes derisively called walking simulators, which I think is not a terrible name except that people mean it derisively. Um, the basic idea is just that it's a game, it's a virtual environment that you walk around and interact with, and there's a story, but there's not a lot of like traditional video game action. You're not fighting bad guys or anything. This one in particular features it's in first person, um, like a first person shooter, except you don't shoot anything. You are a 40 something guy who is um, kind of running away from a difficult situation in his life, and as a result, he has taken a summer job as a fire lookout in the Shoshone National Park in, I think, Nebraska, is what they say. Maybe it was Wyoming. I can't remember now. But the point is, yeah, it's probably Wyoming, now that I think about it. But anyway, the idea is that fire lookouts are people who kind of live, what he has to do is live in this little sort of lookout station all summer, where he's far enough away that he's not necessarily going to see anybody. For the most part, he talks to his supervisor, who's in another station, over the radio, and then stuff happens, and you go through that story. And I really liked it because I'm just fascinated in general with the idea. This is something I think I've talked about before. I need to stop saying that because I've been doing this daily video every day for a year and a couple of months now. So I'm going to repeat myself. So odds that anyone who has actually watched every single episode prior, um, who would care that I might revisit a topic from time to time, is probably vanishingly small. So now that I have made a hearty excuse for repeating myself, ludonarrative dissonance is a fancy word for the thing in video games where you might have a story where your character is this, like, reluctant person who's sort of pressed into a dangerous situation and rises to the occasion, and then that's matched with gameplay where they kill like 500 people. And it just sort of feels like that seems excessive for a normal person who's supposed to be in the situation we're seeing. And it basically, there's a little more to it than that. The idea is that if you have a game where the primary thing that you can make your character do is aim a gun and shoot a gun, then almost no matter what you want the story to be about, it's going to have to be about shooting people because that's really all the game can do. So I like the idea of games exploring, well, what else could we do? What could we do instead of having every single game be about shooting bad guys? Well, you could have a game like Gone Home, where it's about a girl returning from college to her family's new house, only to find that nobody's home, and having to explore the new house in order to try to figure out where everybody is. which is a great game too, by the way. Or Firewatch, where it's like, oh, well, this guy has to work as a fire lookout, and stuff is going on. He has to figure out what's going on. And so your interaction with the game is mostly walking around, choosing dialogue options over the radio with your supervisor Delilah, and you climb up and down ropes to get to various areas, and you will occasionally interact with something like, open a door or turn on a radio or a light switch and stuff like that. So like the actual mechanics are pretty basic, but you can tell a different kind of story because it doesn't have to be contingent on shooting stuff. And I like that. Firewatch only takes about 4 hours to play, and it costs $20, which in some ways, in some video game standards, seems like that's more than a game like that should cost. But you know what? They put their production value into it, and so hey, that's how it works. If you think about going to a movie's usually going to be less time than that and cost about as much, depending on what you're doing. But in any case, if this sounds at all interesting to you, then I recommend you play Firewatch, which is available, I believe. It's certainly on PS4 because that's where I played it. I believe it's also on Steam and maybe also Xbox One. I'm not sure. Anyway, I will talk to you guys tomorrow for 5 more minutes.